Well, I got the main landing gear done, and I checked. I did have the stuff to work on the tail wheel. So we're working on the mount for the tail wheel right now, and I had this little bender that I bought years and years ago for tubing. Got the rollers and everything, and I tried to test bend on one end, and it really came out nice. No kinks or anything, no cracks. So I'm going to go ahead and try to bend the main. It's like 22 degrees. I've got that measured out there. So we'll try to bend that down, see how it goes. Well, that looks like it bent okay to me. So next I need to trim off the excess there. Little there. There is a piece that welds in here. There is a support bracket that goes up against the tail that welds in there. And then somewhere up in here I got to cut it and slide another piece of tubing inside, weld that, then a bolt goes through that. Cut the extra off the end down here. Now I needed to build a little saddle that will go on the top right there. Rather face this direction. Now what this does, be welded on the top of that spring, and it will go on the bottom of the fuselage right there, have a hole in each end that will go up through these tabs, and that'll bolt that on there. Just cut this out of I think it's 63 thousandths 4130, and then just use a body dolly and a body hammer and work it till it matches the contour of the bottom of the fuselage. And when that's welded on the top there, there'll be a couple of gussets that come down on each side that weld to the tube also. All right, the front end of the tube, we'll take a piece of smaller tubing, we'll insert it in there like 1 inch deep, weld it around the end there, and then we'll drill a 1/4 inch hole top to bottom here. And that bolts up through that hole in the bottom of the fuselage. And then the saddle will ride right in here. There's a plate nut on the inside there. And we'll drill the 2 holes here to hold that saddle. And that'll keep the thing from rocking back and forth, keep it all in line. And then it'll stick out this way. And we can put the swivel and the tail wheel on it. All right, here is the little 1 inch piece of tubing that slides into the tail wheel spring. And just like that, to act as a doubler when we drill that hole through there. So right now I'm going to go weld that on. And I just ran the torch around that, fused those 2 pieces of tubing together. So now we need to come in a 1/2 inch, drill a 1/4 inch hole through there, you know, vertically with the spring like this. All right, the hole is drilled. We've got that up there. Now I need to carefully mark where that little plate goes on there. Get everything lined up and tack that onto the tube, and then we'll bring it back over and make sure everything's lined up before finish welding it. Okay, made a little tack weld on the front. Went and checked it. It looked good, so I'll put a tack weld on the back. Then weld down both sides on the opposite side, and then double check it one more time, and then add some gussets underneath going from the wing to the tube. Okay, got it welded down the sides. Now we need to add a couple of gussets to reinforce it. Okay, we've got the gussets welded on there. So now, the last piece that gets welded on this is down here on this end. We need to drill a vertical hole through there and weld in a short piece of tubing that will be the pivot for the wheel mount. And I got the little end piece welded on. Stay in focus. Got the end piece welded on. Goes right there. So now I've wire wheeled it all. I'm going to give it a coat of paint. We should be able to install it tomorrow. Hopefully. Paint came out good. There's the tail spring. bolted on the bottom there. Thing looks good. If nothing else, yeah, I've got a handle. So now we can start working on the caster piece for the wheel. Cut out a little strip of the 62 thousandths 4130. Bend it up. And that will go on like that to pivot. And from the sides coming down, we'll have the pieces that hook onto the wheel. And across the top, we'll weld on another piece that goes over here for the linkage to steer it. Cut another strip of 4130 off. Got the angle there right for the caster because it's the plans show it full size. These pieces will go on like this. And I just matched the angle up, match drilled them so everything will be straight. And they will end up welding on like this. So right now I just need to taper them down, radius that off, make them lighter. Well, after a little work with the belt sander, we've got those cut like I want, so we need to weld them onto that piece. All right, we got that much of the tail bracket welded up. Okay, I drilled the hole through there where it mounts onto the tail spring, so now I just need to build the piece that comes off to the side that will catch the control arm to swing it back and forth. And there is the top piece welded on. So now I clean it up a little bit, give it a shot of paint, and get it put on the tail spring, and get the wheel put in. There's the finished product. A little arm there that will go up and hook to the steering linkage once we get the rudder control done. We got an A-end bolt in there with a castle nut cotter pin on the bottom. It's painted black, so it's kind of hard to see. I just got into the bolt bin and grabbed a bolt for the wheel. It is an official, you read that? That is an official Harley-Davidson bolt. So this plane will probably be so heavy it'll never even get off the ground. Should work, I hope. And I was kind of skeptical on how that would work as a spring, but I don't know if you can see that, but I'm pushing down on the vertical fin. It does have some give to it. Hopefully it does better than my Mini-Max spring. It was made out of some aluminum bar stock that you bend into a similar angle as this, and bouncing around on the grass strip, it gradually straightened out. I ended up making a new tail spring out of one leaf out of a trailer leaf spring. Cut it, tapered it back, and then it was still on there when I sold the plane. Worked just perfect. Oh, and the wheel. The wheel and tire combination. I looked on the plans. It says Hummel sells 4 to 6 inch tire and wheel assemblies. Doesn't say anything else about them. But I did Google online, and part of the old Hummel website come up from when Terry still had it. And you can read about it. You click on the link. Of course, it goes nowhere because the website's been down. But it does say that they were selling a 6 by 1.25 inch wheel, pneumatic tire. You know, it said it was supposed to be real quiet and all that. And I looked it up, and what popped up was a electric scooter tire and wheel. So that's what that is. 6 by 1.25 inch electric scooter. I got that off Amazon. It was like 20 bucks for the whole assembly. It's got bearings in it. So that's what we're going to go with. So next video, we'll probably build a rudder, providing I have all the equipment. So be watching for that. Catch you on the next one.